going to necessitate the continued interactions if I'm going to have to explain to you what on earth Northbound is working on, what the Legends universe is.
Yeah.
like, at some point, that is going to be something that has to be made.
And at some point, it's looking pretty
Great.
good. I'm happy.
We're recording. You guys are on.
Oh,
Yay,
we're on?
Yeah.
Whoa.
We can do the intro later. I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
No, legit. So the videos right now, like I've thought about it. I've really thought about it, and like, would I subscribe to this channel? And before this podcast came out, I don't think so. I think that this is like the perfect podcast for me.
Yeah.
In terms of like, if I'm just doing something, I like to be listening to things. I can't exist without like music or something in my ear. If I'm like playing games or writing and whatever. So this is content I feel that is good, but like, I have so much of the content that I have made on the Northbound channel up to this point is literally just like I'm working on some crazy thing I can't talk about, and it's like a lot larger, and it's taking all of my attention, and I'm having to develop entirely new skills just to make this one thing good and good enough for me. But that means that because of how it started, I have to put out a video.
Yeah.
I have to put something out because I've determined that's what I'm gonna do.
How long have you been working on Northbound stuff again?
Like 21 years. I think it's gonna be 22 this November. Well, we didn't know it was Northbound when I was 6, but
It became that. The
Oh, wait.
origins start there.
oh no, it's gonna be like 23. I don't know. Whatever.
So I was about 2 years old when you started this.
Oh my god.
You've been working on Northbound for pretty much my entire life.
So it's such a mixture of things. It like literally it started. It was like a single story that eventually became my life's work. But it and like I think is just so rich and interesting and good. It's my favorite story in the world. But the idea of Northbound is that there's more we want to do than just like have the Legends universe, and there's also like I want to like let lore for that. There's also like a game we're making. I probably shouldn't have said that on camera.
You can like censor yourself in post or something.
No, I'm too tired. I'm simply too tired. But like. It's just there's other ambitions I have, so it's like, well, we can't just be like the Legends channel or whatever, so like we have to do other things, and like I just want to get like the story out there because we've been working on we've been taking it like seriously for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And we have work to show for those 8 years. Like if we ever like sat you down and had you look through like what we've got going on, you'd be like, my God, like this is there is a whole trove of stuff that has just been hidden from the world. And that's because we like never quite knew how to release it. And this channel started because I got sick of not having anything to show. And so it was like, okay. And now there's all these things. And like every once in a while I come up with a new thing. So I'm just adding to the list of projects that are way bigger than my skill set. And at the same time, I started the channel because I wanted to have anything out, and it was like, well, I want it to be on the anniversary of when Legends Universe started. Me and my childhood friend in a hallway at Lake Moria Resort, like at a convention, just playing make believe, and it never died ever. And so it's like I want to do something with that. But
So
yeah,
are you, in terms of these many projects about Northbound and the Legends universe, in terms of whichever one is closest to being finished, are you able to say what it is and how close it is to being releasable?
sure.
Just
Purely
right into that
Northbound
interview idea
related.
thing you had.
Oh yeah, but I mean that'll be a different thing.
Yeah.
So basically I wrote a book is the short answer, but I'm not like an English major. I'm not an author. So I read the book that I wrote and I was like, this could be better. So I like edited it and I was like, well, this could still be better. And so I'm working on it and like making sure that I have my ducks in a row, that it's going to be more than one book. Like it just kind of has to be. They're like different segments of the story that I feel like connect in a pleasing way. And the story is like the Legends universe. I call it that because it is well, like I don't know if you've ever read Discworld, but it is a setting. Like it
Yeah.
is, there are things that have happened in this place that are so disconnected from other things that happen in this place, but they like all stem back to like the same historical event, or like things are this way because of this one time literally everything changed. Now the world is just fundamentally different. Like and that is, you know, there's
So
20 years of that kind of storytelling.
It's a collection of different stories and storylines and characters that all happen in the same place and can affect each other if the
They
events
often do. When I was a kid, like I thought about making a video about this, but I decided I have too much on my plate. I remember I really like Overly Sarcastic Productions. I think they're great. And like they're talking about those, like, man, immortals like suck, and like immortality is this whole thing of like, you know, you're this distant character that feels like you can't. How could you connect with people who are like a fleeting glimpse? And I fundamentally disagree with that. I like. In my mind, in this setting, like immortality is relatively common. Death wasn't part of the plan, or at least it was only a part of the plan in like a certain way. You know, like you got to kind of choose, like, okay, I'm done. Like I've lived long enough. I've done everything I wanted to do.
So it's immortality for as long as you want it.
Kinda. Death ended up happening on accident, and it's still there, and now everyone has to deal with it. So like there's a certain amount of like if you lived in this world, the world just is a certain way, and things change. And when I say things change, I mean like they really change. Time works fundamentally different now than it used to, because some idiots, like, there was a really, really big war, and the options were it was literally like, if we can't have time, no one can. Like it was it's complicated. It's really getting to basically like capital G God showed up and decided to turn the lights off. He was like, let there not be light. Like, we're done. We can pack up shop. This whole universe thing doesn't need to happen anymore. And then all the people in the universe were like, no, no, we're cool. Actually, we like being alive. And so like, you know, capital G God's plan was to go to like the structure where time happened, like the actual mechanism that makes time tick, and like, you know, wield time in a destructive fashion to just either cause like entropy, the big crunch, whatever he needed to do to just end it all, make life unlivable. And, you know, break everything all at once. And so the people tried to defend. They set up fortresses, and they tried to, like, they had a protracted, I say protracted, turns out you don't really have, there's not a lot you can do to stop God, from doing what he wants to do.
God wielding literal time.
Yeah, like, so
the concept of time.
Yeah, so when it got to a point where like every bastion had broken, every plan had failed, like they were woefully unprepared. They were like, they like gathered everybody, but there was still like a little bit of political nonsense. There were certain places that were like trying to leverage their position, where they were like, well, if we, you know, like if we send the bulk of our forces, we ruin our economy, and like we destabilize. Like if I, America, send my entire army somewhere else, it doesn't matter if Canada only has like 2 divisions of fucking Monties or something. That's enough. Like that's enough if everyone is gone. So there were certain people that like weren't willing to send like the kinds of troops that would actually destabilize home security. Like they're legitimate concerns you would make it under any other circumstance. That kind of ended up meaning that, like, to be honest with you, they like didn't know what they were up against, and nothing would have helped. Like there was an amount of preparation they just didn't do, but it got to a point where like just everything failed, and the people in charge were like, so we can't stop him. Like we can't stop him.
So
if he gets to time,
turns out he's God.
Yeah, it turns out he's God. If he gets to time, we lose. The universe is over. Yeah. Like, so we could just break it before he gets here. Like, if we break it, he can't do anything bad with it. So, but like, you know, the universe itself has been around for a long time. So the people that have lived in the universe have like, they've done science. They've solved the mysteries. They've solved like most of the mysteries of the universe. They've met God. They're like, they kept doing science and religion until they found God and were like, hi. And now he hangs out and lives. Not that God, different God. They're fully different terms. So it's,
I get the
complicated.
sense you've been wanting to talk about this like in detail for some time now.
I'm honestly a little exhausted. Like it's the kind of thing where like, because I have like a whole friend group and we love, like tabletop RPGs and we love games and we love storytelling and like collaborative storytelling. And so it's always like, what inevitably happens is that like someone goes, hey, that sounds, read that thing you did. That's kind of interesting. Can you tell me about it? And I'm like, this is the next few hours of my life. Like, it's like one of the big reasons why there hasn't been a channel for like the, like 8 years I've decided I'm going to take this very, very seriously is because I have yet to find a succinct way to explain like there is so many like sedimentary layers of like the universe was different here and then it changed again and then it changed again in a major way.
It has become this massive unwieldy thing that
yeah, but it's also like really cool. It's like great. It's so interesting and it's so fun to like sit down and write in a setting where like, like it's so there are parts of the setting or like times in the setting that are interesting, but it's like I could try and tell you like there was an apocalyptic war, right?
Yeah.
Where basically the thing that happened, some tinkering from like a creature that really just wanted to help. It just doesn't understand humanity that well. And it was like, hey, I'm going to like push you guys towards progress. And kind of makes an entire like civilization geniuses overnight. They're all Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah. They're all Albert Einstein. They're all Oppenheimer. They're all the smartest they could possibly be. And what basically ends up happening is that within a few generations, they have built as soon as like the people who invented the atom bomb die, and they kind of did it like on their own or with a very, very small team, like everyone is smart. Everyone has the biggest new idea. And the race towards progress is so fast. Like it is such a sea change that they don't have the opportunity to like, there's no such thing as like a patent office. Like it's very, very quick. Like there is a moment in Emloy history where there's this Cambrian explosion of ideas that outpaces the like capitalistic ideal of just like civilization, of just like how can we monetize this or what can we do? Like they solve clean and infinite energy like 7 different ways. It legitimately matters like what county are you in? We have a different perpetual motion machine keeping everything working. And so like they solve all of their problems so quickly that like it outpaces the structure of academia. Like the ability to like write a paper and peer review it and like, like teach in a college and get like students working on this same idea. They outpace it so quickly that it gets to a point where when those people start to die, like when that generation dies, they don't have students, or like the students they do have like don't know what they're doing. Like they're off doing their own crazy, everyone's a genius. And so what ends up happening pretty quickly, like within a handful of generations, is like everyone, we're still inventing we're still inventing new kinds of spaceship, new kinds of infinite energy, but the older these older systems start breaking down really fast because no one knows how to run them. No one knows where the pressure valve on this thing is.
Yeah.
Like, and so all of these like infinite energy machines start like melting down and no one knows what they're doing or how to fix it. And there's a lot of like, hey, I solved defense. I made Skynet, and it's fine because I know the password, and then I die. And it's like, well, who knows this password to Skynet? No one? Cool. Like, great.
So no one writes anything down in this world?
Yeah, and then, well, they do. Again, it's moving so fast. Like, if you imagine going from where we are right now to, like, Terminator 2 in 12 years. Like there isn't enough time to figure it out. And like the next person, like a country over or like a planet over that figures out I've solved defense with a different Skynet. The first Skynet says, that's an enemy, I'm going to blow it up. And they're like, stop it. Like they don't, it basically.
Please refrain.
Yeah. Basically the mandate is there is no one left who understands the technology well enough to stop it. It is fundamentally, like, they cannot stop the things that they themselves have created, and their only solution is to make brand new things that are just as dangerous. And then when the previous things end up kind of successfully, like, icing the people who are building these new things, like, you just have more and more destructive defensive technology that is utterly masterless and on
That
with
is
no known off switch.
Actually, so fucking interesting.
It's really, really cool. And basically, like, it gets to a point where their solution eventually becomes, like, this entity that, like, made everyone a genius comes back and is like, oh, that's a problem. Let me help you out again.
Everyone is dumb.
Yeah, like basically it asks, what do you need? I have the ability to rewrite physics.
We need the password to Skynet, please.
Well, so their answer isn't even that. They're like, we need this to have not happened. We need this to never have
it gets
happened.
that bad.
Yeah, it's they're like, we need this to not have happened. We live in bunkers while the machines we made are destroying each other, and the fallout from the machines we made fighting, machines we don't even know how to make anymore, them fighting each other is destroying all of our entire civilization rapidly. This needs to have never happened. And Sequitar goes, great, and cracks open, just puts his fist through space-time and says, there's the past. Go do whatever you need to do. And so what, yeah, so...
Okay.
Yeah, just like, great, go fix it. And so basically their solution is they go, well, we're screwed. They kind of just herd these giant death machines into the past. Because there's like, it's not like one unified government. There's a couple of different
doesn't that make
groups.
a paradox though?
Well, good news. They're like, isn't that going to make a paradox? And Secretary says, I fixed it. I literally, this is a being that can put its fist through space time. Sequitar is a otherworldly entity based around basically information. It's often like people inside the universe think of him as like the god almost of forbidden knowledge, but really the way he works is that any knowledge no one knows anymore, like that one person who knows that one, like your grandmother when she died and never passed her apple pie recipe on to anybody, this guy knows it now. Like that information pops up in his head. And he's really curious. He's curious about the world. But the way he learns things is by killing everyone who knows something. So anytime he wants to learn something new, he'll make like an immortal entity and just say, I want to, you know what I want to know? I want to know, like, what's that one song that, like, has that one beat? And then it'll go, okay, and then level a civilization. Sequitar just doesn't know any better. It's just not human. This thing doesn't behave like people do. It's trying to help. It's trying to have empathy. It just doesn't know what empathy is. It's just these people are screaming. I've been told that's bad. And it's like, oh, well, here's the past. It causes problems if we go to the past. Oh, that sounds bad. I'm going to make it so there's no more problems. Like I'll fix it for just you guys. I got you, big guy. And basically what ends up happening, though, is that they herd these giant death machines into the past to get rid of them and try to fit, like, there are some people who are just, like, trying to get rid of them so that they can have a clean planet. They're like, we're just going to throw them, we're going to take the death machines and move them somewhere else. They're going to be not here anymore, not on our planet. And they throw them into the past, and they're like, Sequitar said there wouldn't be a problem, so we're just going to move them there, and it's going to be fine, I guess. And the people in the past are like, where are all these death machines coming from? Like, why is the sky a big robot? Like, why is the sky raining death robots? So, but good news, because Sequitar made them all geniuses, so the people in the past are under attack by things that they don't know what's happening. Some of these things just stop working literally based on bad maintenance. Like, they just eventually grind to a halt because, like, critical components have been broken, but they've already leveled, like, a solar system. And it's like the people that are still alive are like, what do we do? There's like 12 more of these things. Well, what do we have on hand? Let's rummage through the giant death robot and figure out what's going on. And then these people who are geniuses rummage through old technology, figure out how it works, start taking up like guns, and they go, well, there's a big hole in the sky, let's go to the other side of that hole and kill everybody. So basically what ends up happening, the result of this is that there is a paradox war, a war of people from the past destroying themselves with technology they can no longer control, sending things to the past, to people who are, like Bronze Age, but figuring things out quickly because of a new magical sentience that they didn't know existed. Their minds are rapidly expanding, and what happens is every time the people in the past gain a foothold and start beating these death bots, they do it by getting better and better technology, which means the people in the future have access to even more improvement, because from that period, however many years in the future this paradox war is happening, they've had, like, we understand how to make atom bombs now. Great. Now the people in the future solved atom bombs 500 years earlier. Now they have super bombs. Now they have, like, universe destroying bombs. So every time the people in the past succeed in pushing the enemy back, the people, like the death robots from the future, grow even more advanced. And every time the even more advanced death bots kill half of the people in the past, well, now in the future there were less people to make these death bots, so there are less of them and they're jankier, and it's possible for the people in the past to beat them. And so there's this seesawing effect of, like, this civilization is screwed.
Okay.
There is no saving them.
Important
They
question.
are utterly screwed.
Is this like what, half of what goes on in the Legends universe? Is this the whole thing?
This is
Is it a small fraction of the Legends universe history?
This is an unbelievably small. This is a footnote on a footnote of, like, one of the ages. There are, like, I think 13 ages of, or like 7. I can't remember. I recently trimmed it down because I was like, well, some of these could be like homogenized and, for just trying to, like, shape up the lore before I release it to the public. But there are like 8 or 9 of these ages. But the problem I'm trying to illustrate here is, like, the Paradox War is a really fun story that I haven't seen anything like that. That's cool.
Yeah,
if you're a
that's
sci-fi nerd,
crazy.
that's a fun story. But also, a few ages later, time breaks, and if you're reading about the Legends universe and you go, wait a minute, time's broken, how can they have a paradox where that's not allowed anymore? You can't travel through time, there's no time to travel through. Like, time works fundamentally, like, you can reach periods in the history of the Legends universe where things no longer work the way they used to. Like, gods, the way we think of them, like, Zeus, Poseidon, like,
God.
yeah, like, no, but like Thor, Odin, like the pantheons of gods we think about.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
capital G, let there be light God is a whole different animal. That they're not necessarily a god. They're just frankly, they were a person who was lonely. They were just an all-powerful being who was in control of literal perfection and found it boring. They felt like they were purely lonely in a frozen wasteland where nothing moved, because any spark, any fire, any chaos, the flicker of a flame, if it can't be calculated, it isn't perfect. So the most perfect anything can be is when it is the most orderly, and the most orderly anything can be is when it is one. So everything was one thing. Yeah. That one thing was a person, and that one person was lonely. They wanted people. They were an infinitely knowledgeable being surrounded by nothing. They knew the answer to every question, and they didn't like it. They just wanted a friend. So they made the universe, and that necessitated, like, making the universe capable of flaws, of things that weren't calculable, of fire. It necessitated the creation of imperfection. And the way we think of them as the Adenon, the owner and executor of the universe, the one. The way the Adenon thought about it was like, if I make a person, if I make Adam and Eve, and I know their every thought, I have failed. Until I have made something that surprises me, I am not happy. I am still alone. So they created a universe very, very carefully to be surprising, to be, interesting to them. And unfortunately, you can't have a universe that surprises you if order is the rule, but the most orderly anything can be is when it is one. So he had to break the idea of a one true God. He had to strike himself down to create a world where there were people and things, and he did it it wasn't like this universe wasn't built like all at once. He started with a very small sample. He beta tested people. He made like, they're not angels. Angels are their own very specific thing, but he made a set of perfect people that were flawless and wise and capable of incredible art, but he could still understand them all. Everything they did flawlessly. They invented combat because like they invented combat because they literally tasked their greatest philosopher with like, oh, I have a problem. We have invented the Ethereans, the people, basically. You can think of them as like human people, dragons and titans. Dragons are ultimate power. People are the ultimate wisdom. And titans are ultimately creative. They can make anything. We have these three things, and the dragons, they don't know what to do with this power. They have power. They want to demonstrate it. They want a proof. They literally they ask their greatest philosopher, make me a mathematical proof that demonstrates the mighty. And not knowing what he was doing, he invented war. And killing people. He accidentally invented murder. He is, in this universe, personally responsible for every death that ever happens in battle. And it does not help his mental health. He has spent a lifetime being like, I messed up.
So yeah, I can tell you put about 8 years of taking this seriously.
But like, so, we have this is, I guess, the whole podcast. I'm sorry.
Hello, everyone.
By the way, we're maybe friends. We haven't done our intro yet. Hi.
We got
Will,
sidetracked into the lore of the Legends universe. This is almost like a promo for the Northbound channel at this point.
Not again. I want to do a better I feel like there's a good way to do it. This is me. This isn't me like selling anything or trying to be like, oh, it's really interesting. Get involved. This is just me trying to demonstrate to you what is going on and why this project is the way it is.
Sprawling and unholy thing is.
But it's great. It's my favorite story. It's really cool.
I love how much thought you put into it. There's insane concept in there, like the gods with flaws, like that whole like motif is just
there. So the Sequitar, he isn't like a god. He is the same race as the Adenon, as the one true god, the one thing. But they weren't allowed to exist because there could only be one Adenon. They're not crazy. Sequitar's crazy, but he's not crazy because he's fundamentally flawed. He's crazy because the universe is a very specific. So think about it like this: when Allura, the Adenon, that is his name, the person who created the universe. When Allura made the universe, he made the way the universe looks and is not the only way it could have been. It could have been anything. Gravity didn't have to exist.
Yeah.
Gravity didn't have to exist. People didn't have to procreate that way. These were all choices. They were literally artistic decisions. Think of Allura as an artist. You could run out into an alley and do graffiti. You could throw paint on what's already there. You could be Jackson Pollock and try to add 3 dimensions and the way the light hits the canvas changes it. You could be Van Gogh and have this deeply impressionist kind of watercolor art style. You could be very fine like Da Vinci. He could have made the universe any other way.
But he chose
to make it this way. Now imagine you're Sequitar, you're Flen Aule, you're the other Imenotet, they're called. You're the true immortals is how the people in the universe think of them, because what else would you call them? They're gods are a different thing. It's a whole thing. Gods aren't actually native to the universe. They happened later. Humanity existed before gods were born, and the first crusades that ever actually happened were against the gods. Because the first religious war that ever happened was against religion, because gods showed up and were like, "Hi, I'm the god of summer. Summer's hot now," and people were like, "Wait, my crops are dying. He's killing my crops. Kill him." He's bad. Think about it.
I love the thought process of just the normal people.
Well, imagine if actual Zeus rolled up to America right now and said, "Hey, you're worshiping exactly the way I want you to," you'd say no.
Yeah.
There's a subset of people who, if literal God showed up and actually said no, this is the answer, I promise you will. There are people who go, that's not the God I want to believe in, and just disagree. And then to prove your point, you'd be like, oh, well, your god's flawed. I can show you by killing him. Like, if he's a physical guy, if I kill him, I'm pretty successful. And, like, the gods themselves, imagine being the first ever god. You popped into a world where there's already people, and you're like, I don't know, I think I'm in charge of summer. Like, I think I'm in charge of summer. I don't know what that means. Whoops, I turned up the thermostat too high. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I don't have practice at this. Like, gods were a destructive force when they first showed up because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know their purpose. They weren't handed a rule book on how to be gods. They didn't have followers. They were just going around doing things, and if I punch you, Will Cribb, in the face, you go, what the hell, man? If I punch Thor in the face, he blows up St. Albans. like, if the gods being people and not having, like, the structure of religion to sort of isolate them and teach them, like, literally praying is valuable to gods for a numerous amount of reasons, but one of them is that it's people walking up to God and saying, hi, hey, my Athena, homie, friend of mine, this is what I want. I want this thing. Like, in the Legends universe, religion is a fundamentally democratic process.
Okay.
Because everyone gets a prayer, and a god will look at all of the prayers available to them and go, okay, I think this is the way humanity's supposed to work. Like, I think this is what they're asking for. I'm going to do my best to help it go that way. And it is a little bit democratic. But the very first gods didn't have that structure to help them, so they were just hurting things, and they didn't know any better. They figured, like, some of them were like, how do I live alongside these people? I don't know. I don't know how immortal I am. I don't know if you can kill me. I've never seen a god die before. I'm like the third ever one. Some of them, like, some of the gods didn't like each other. Some of the gods were trying to live in harmony with people. Some of them wanted to rule over people. They were like, well, I'm bigger and stronger than you. Maybe I should be the king of everything. And if you're a normal civilization that has, like, a few thousand years of history that's existed for a long time, and suddenly these crazy aliens show up and start telling you what to do, you're gonna say no.
Yeah.
Like, so the first Crusades were people going, these god things seem like trouble. Like, this seems bad, actually.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, it took, like, a long time. Like, gods were in hiding. They were on the run. They were there were roving bands of crusaders literally hunting gods down, and that would end in inevitable catastrophe. And it took, like, thousands of years. It took this one god, who was the son of this other god named, it's not Morlun. Morlun's his dad. I can't remember. There's so many things going on, but, like, they got to a point where, like, they eventually came up with an armistice, and there was this one god who was, like, just specifically helping people. He was, like, the son of the god of winter, and his whole shtick was, hey, I can't help but notice winter is killing people. Like, the cold sucks. Crops don't grow. I have this power. I'm just going to make winter gentle. I'm going to make it so that people don't freeze to death. That's, like, my thing. People aren't going to freeze to death, and if another god shows up, I'll tell them to please go away. Yeah. And people started rallying around and being like, hey, look at this guy. He's not getting in our way.
He's not a dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no plan in the creation of the universe for how gods are supposed to work. Religion is like an agreement between people, like the gods that are newer to the world than people are, and the people who already had a civilization before the gods got here. Like, there's like, and different civilizations took it different ways. Some people, like, there is an entire civilization where they said, hey, you know what, these god things work based on our prayers. They work only work when our prayers tell them how to work. Yeah. We can Twitter troll farm the gods. We can, like, get a group of people together, get them all to pray for one thing, and manipulate the gods to do exactly what they want us to. The gods work for us, not the other way around. Like, there is a papacy that has, like, a pantheon of enslaved gods fighting when they tell them to fight. Otherwise, their flow of belief will be cut off. Like, it is their existence. It's like, hey, I can take away oxygen from you unless you do what I ask you to. It's like, it's brutal in some places. There's just like 1,000,010 gods. There's a god for every tree. Because and it's just like, yeah, I'm a small god, but there's a person who comes and lays a little, flower wreath down at my roots, and that's nice. Like, it's nice. Yeah. We get along. Legends is a whole crazy thing, But like,
So here's my question hearing all this.
yeah.
There's so much going on, so many great
Yeah.
ideas, and such expansive history and lore throughout this whole crazy thing. Where does one start with this, and how?
I'm figuring that out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I have an answer.
My
yeah.
leading question here is like, for you, how would you present this in a way that isn't totally overwhelming to someone? Like, because you gotta drip feed stuff like this.
So yeah, so that's why I wrote the book. I say it's a book. It's not a very good book. It's I don't know. I think if I made it, I would suspect the quality. I just don't think I'm as capable a writer as other people, but I'm going to do my best. I have picked a very specific point, which is there have been so many sea changes like over the Legends universe. Like there is a distance of like literally like caveman to like modern day in terms of like amount of history that has happened in between like God starting to exist and time breaking. Like there's a whole era of this universe where the rules were different. The Paradox War happened before gods. There was no one to pray to. So the kind of solution I've come up with is I think that there is one sort of flashpoint that led the universe into its most modern iteration where I think the most interesting story in the universe.
No, Katie's leaving. Goodbye, Katie.
Aw, bye, Katie. I think the most interesting story in the universe is centered around this one conflict that happened after the sort of the golden age of the whole universe starts at a certain point, and there are a lot of interesting stories that exist inside that era. I think that era is very dense with good stories, and I think I can work backward from some of them.
Yeah.
And so, but there's basically one event. This isn't entirely true, but basically this one guy kind of manipulates events in such a way that like this one guy is kind of responsible for how the universe ends up after a fashion. And so I've written a story that, the first part of a story that is just this, like, for lack of a better term, like 3 kingdoms period. This period in like Chinese history where it's like, okay, everything's different, but then it unifies and history goes from there. And so I've kind of picked that point and written about it because I think it draws together a lot of elements that you don't have to have all the context for.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, you know the shape of what's happening. Like you understand the shape of this one conflict in this one place that is far from the biggest thing happening on the universal scale.
You need just one set point that you can establish and use the foundation to build off everything off of.
From this, a massive amount of things branch off, and that is and are off and running. And that's the point I've kind of chosen.
Yeah.
So that is my plan, but it's taking a while because it turns out it's hard. And I want it to be good, and I want it to be as good as I can make it, and I'm trying to like explore like, okay, well, how do I do this? Even after I get it written, like from a production standpoint, how do I want it to look and sound? Like if this is going up on YouTube as opposed to like Goodreads or like Amazon, like
the other thing you do is you can just like introduce like a bunch of like make several different foundations at random points in this history, and then slowly over time.
I'm kind of planning on do that. I think another good entry point is that moment when gods start existing, and there's these 4 primeval gods, and the whole political fabric of the realm of Revalin explodes. Like I think that's a fun flashpoint to explore, and then a lot of things go from that.
Are you familiar with the Pixar theory?
No.
So the Pixar theory is that, and I'm going to explain how this connects in a minute here, but Pixar theory is like every Disney Pixar movie, so Toy Story, Ratatouille, Finding Nemo, Cars, The Incredibles. Yeah. There's a theory that all of them are connected in some way. Like people have like put together like a whole timeline of history, like weaving connections throughout as many Pixar movies as they can. And I think with recent releases, it might have died off a little bit because Pixar doesn't.
If that
Pixar
were the way it were, then they would have.
So I mean, what you could do is like, if you really want to, you could just introduce like. You could like jump around and
That's
introduce
kind of the plan,
different
to a certain extent.
parts of the story, but like leave them completely separate. Like people might not even realize they're part of the same universe at first, and eventually, like
that's kind of my only choice.
Yeah, it kind of is. Like
yeah, no, I fully agree with you. That's like I've been sweating and thinking about like literally it's taken years to like pick the right one and make sure that I have like my ducks in a row and figuring out like I wrote that when I was 7. Let's make it a little bit better, like stuff like that.
I think going into this, you would need to like. I feel like you would break your own mind if you were trying to think of the context of this entire thing with this one starting point.
These are good gummies, which I won't put the label in front of the camera.
And so as like several starting points, you can build them up, and then they kind of like overlap, and like that could like even provide audience engagement. You know, like people start theorizing like, hey, I think these might be connected. I think there are links here, and then slowly you can like start introducing elements that kind of suggest overlap, and
that's kind of the plan at the moment.
That's kind of the only real play when something is this expansive and this thought out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we don't have a ton of. Oh my. I just realized I just thought of like. Now that I'm thinking of more of them, but like thoughts that ended incomplete. It was like tangents that went into new tangents. I apologize. You're a saint for sitting through this. I really appreciate it. But I guess to close out the thought, so like Sequitar, Imhotep, they're crazy. Why are they crazy? The idea is the reason they are crazy, they're trying to do their best, basically boils down to Allura made the universe a very specific way. He said, I'm going to make the Mona Lisa. Like, it's going to be a painting. And then another guy, like Sequitar, you know, there's only 12 of them.
The dude one who shows them punches space-time.
Yeah, walks into the Louvre and goes, I only know statues. And another one walks in and is like, I only watch Broadway plays. I don't do painting. And then you're like, okay, well, the Mona Lisa is all that exists. And they're like, is she smiling? I can't tell. I think she's happy. And then you go inside the Mona Lisa. And like the reason they are crazy and the reason that they don't understand humanity isn't because there's like something wrong with them. It's just that they are looking at, in their minds, a piece of art. It is the only piece of art. It is the best one. They don't have the ability to create their own art. Allura is the only one who can make a universe. This is the only one there is. So they are trying to understand art that doesn't connect with them. Like, they're like, I'm an impressionist, I don't get this. Or they're like that one kid looking at a Jackson Pollock painting going, I don't get it. Yeah. Like that's what they are. That's why they are the way they are. They're just, they don't get this art.
Gods and these higher beings is easily my favorite part of this whole thing. Because the way they're flawed and confused and like they don't know what they're doing part of the time is like that is so interesting to me.
I think that the world can be more interesting. I like the idea of like, you know, like, oh, immortality is this lonely bad thing. Like, no. If I were like, imagine if like George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, like people with a insanely intense view of patriotism were immortal. It would be like, okay, this is a job. Like, it is my job to make sure that this country works. I wake up, I clock in 9 to 5, and I make sure that like gravity keeps working the same way it did yesterday. Like, if like immortality is, I think, like the unexplored thing is like it's a responsibility. No, like, hey man, I'm 28 and my days are just as long as they were when I was 6. So like, if I like were immortal and I had lived for 1,000 years and I met someone new and made a friend with them and they were only going to live for 80 years. 80 years is a long time. Like it's a long time. You don't lose connection with people. It just like every day can still be cool. Like sure, not everyone, but like. I don't agree with the idea that like everyone's gonna be sad. Like there's gonna be a couple of people who are like, okay, like I'm gonna be responsible. I am going to like this is a responsibility. I have advantages you don't, and I'm gonna try and make sure that your life is better because I've seen the worst things. Like I feel like I don't think the Legends universe was built to spite fairy tales in the way that like Discworld was. Like it was like Terry Pratchett was like, Arthurian myth is hilarious. Yeah. Like, you know, there's the like Tolkien with like Shakespeare. You know, until the woods march on High Dunson Annual, and then the Ents literally rip Isengard to pieces. Like, they should be, like, having a bush in front of your face is dumb. Like, the trees, I want to see the trees punch a building. You know, there's a lot of authors I love who, like, you kind of feel like their art is built to spite tropes. That's not necessarily what the Legends universe is, but I do think there's just a lot of things in it that I have yet to see explored in other ways.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen these stories anywhere else. I think because of the way the world works, there are some stories that can't be told anywhere else. And those are my favorite worlds. One day, you're going to play Expedition 33 and it's going to change your life. I'm not joking. Go onto YouTube, watch like gameplay footage, just watch like just somebody playing the game with no audio. Buy the game, play it. If you like cinematography, it will blow your mind. Like, there is art that can only exist because of the world things exist in. And I think the Legends universe has a lot of that to offer. And for that reason, I've decided I'm going to make something of it. I'm going to share it with the world.
I honestly hope you do. Now that I have like a much more expansive idea of what this thing is.
It's crazy and bonkers, but I was 6, man. Like, what do you want? I was a 6-year-old.
So anyway, this has been the one where we explain Legends lore.
This is the one where we explain Legends lore. I do this. So it's literally like it's even people who like know Legends lore. It's like, wait, I thought X thing was true. And it's like, no, that was a different. Like, no, it's fine. I've gotten to the point in my life where like the other people in Northbound like working with me on this like know the lore like as well as I do, and it's great. Like they get to be the ones whenever like someone new is introduced to it. They're like, well, what's about this thing? And they're like, oh, let me pull you aside and talk to you about it. And I go, yes, I don't have to give this spiel for the 8 millionth time. And also it just feels great to see this idea grow and sort of become part of a community. That's great. And I want to spread that, but I promise you, like, I can talk about this for literally forever. And I don't like it because I do it all the time.
You're kind of at the point where you're ready for the work to speak for itself.
Yeah, I can't wait for the day that it's like, as I get asked a question, I can go, oh, go watch this YouTube video. Like, I have other shit to do. Man, I gotta mow the lawn. Like, you watch the, like, do this. I have games to play, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've got stuff to do. I want to keep my evening. Go watch this video. And that'll be great.
Goddamn. So are your friends yet?
I'm so tired. I'm so deeply tired. If that didn't chase you off, I think we have a chance.
That was honestly engaging.
Great. That is, you have no idea how terrifying it is doing this and being like, oh, everyone might just hate this.
Oh,
but,
I've got an idea of it, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I'm a film major, remember?
oh, yeah. No, you got it.
Yeah, I've been around the block.
Yeah, you have some more stories.
Maybe not to this huge, complex extent.
Dude, people, I'm sure you get it. Like, I'm so sure.
Yeah.
Like it's just terrifying putting your art out in the world. And I have made this channel like, I don't know, 4 or 5. It started in November. This is the 5th month. I started this channel. Oh my God, it's over half a year. Cool. I started this channel like half a year ago, and I'm still scared because I don't feel like it's out yet. So I've just been existing terrified. Like, at least with the movie, it's like it comes out, and then you're at the point where like, well, people either love this or they hate it, and then you get to see the reaction.
Yeah.
But this feels like it's still in the oven. And
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so many ways that this could go wrong.
Well, you guys really got to put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, like, it gave me, like, every friend I've ever had. That's why it's not dead after 21 years. There have been multiple times in my life where it was just like, okay, I'm in college now. I'm going to do real people stuff. Yeah.
Hearing how much effort you've put into this already, I think it'd be a shame to, like, have this thing die off.
Yeah, but, like,
that.
there have been points in my life, not now, oh my God, not now, but, like, there have been, like, I've only been taking this seriously for, like, 6-7 years, like 8 years or whatever.
And yeah,
2016, I think.
I mean, when you're a lot younger,
Oh
like
my God,
that,
that's almost. Oh Christ.
I mean, imagine like dedicating your life to something when you're
yeah.
a teenager. Like
You
you've
don't
got
know
so
what's
much to learn and like experience.
Yeah, I was an autistic kid who didn't know how to make friends, and there were just people in the playground who were like, "Hey, we're playing like King of the Hill or whatever," or like, "I drew this guy I like," and I was like, "Oh, let me draw a guy I like," and then I draw a thing, and they're like, "Oh, who's that from?" And they go, "Oh, well, here's his story," and then like it just so happened that like every like friend I've ever had, to a point, like not recently.
Yeah.
This podcast as an example, depending on how it goes. But there was a point in my life where it's just like, it never went away because it was the vehicle through which I like made my social engagements and like learned about things. It drove my curiosity, being like, well, what would happen? What is the economy? How does that work? I need to figure I have people like playing with antimatter. What is antimatter? Oh, that's not as cool as I thought it was. It like drove my curiosity. It shaped my life in so many ways, and it got to a point where it's like, well, if it can do that for me, there is the slimmest chance that it could do it for somebody else. Because I know Discworld, Lord of the Rings, like I know things that have done that for me. So I don't know, if it can help somebody, it's worth putting it out there.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is.
And frankly, I'm not going to lie, there's also a certain amount of like, I have worked so hard on this that I retroactively need it to have been worth it.
Yeah.
I'm a 28-ass-year-old man who has spent so much time thinking about this dumb story, and it needs to have a point in my life if I'm going to have worked that hard.
Woo!
Yep.
All right. I actually do need to.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta do my job now.
Stay frosty. That's a quote from something.
Thanks for sitting through all this. If you're still here.
Yeah, if you're still here, there's other videos about this same stuff.
It should get full blown content.
If you're
soon.
still here, either you think I'm crazy, and that's entertaining to you, or you're interested in this. That's what this channel does. When it's not doing this, this is half of what this channel does right now.
Either way, it works for us. Really.
Yeah, it does.
And maybe you're here because you
watch the stuff. That's what the channel's for. I don't know what to tell you. We gotta go.
Anyway, thanks for sitting in.
Yeah, are we friends yet?
Yeah, I'm having fun.
How crazy do you think I am right now?
I've seen crazier. I've seen a lot in my time.
Me too. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. People, there are some real cards out there.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
But we'll see y'all next time.
Have a good one.
Yeah.